And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I'm with my buddy and pal, partner in crime, Chris Edwards. Good morning, everyone. How are you
Good
all
morning,
doing?
sir, and good morning, audience. How's everybody doing today?
Uh, I am tired. All I can say is I'm tired. But this, you know what? I went out yesterday. I did my 4 mile walk. I got that walk in. Went to the Costco's and bought some treats that I don't usually buy because I was like, I don't really keep sweets in the house. But there's this thing called the buka or boo 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 buka, something like that chocolate swirl thing that they have, and I only eat it probably once a year. Well, yesterday was that day that I went in because it has I'm a sucker for chocolate, and I just pulled it a piece, these swirls, and just kept eating it like popcorn.
Listen,
So
there's nothing wrong with treating yourself every once in a while. You know what?
like
We all
popcorn.
we might be on diets and stuff like that, but we have to treat ourselves every once in a
As a
while.
matter of fact, I'm gonna go grab it. Chris, tell people what you're up to, sir.
Okay, well, while Ron goes and gets a treat for himself, let's see what's on the agenda. So I won't be here tomorrow, as I had mentioned last week. Another work trip. This one is for Sweatfest in Cancun. That After Seven will be performing on Sunday. So I'm leaving tomorrow for that. Looking forward to it. So today is preparation and packing day. So let's see what this
Yes.
treat is, Ron.
Has anyone ever seen
Oh,
this
it's a whole
from,
cake.
from Trader Joe's?
Sir, I only see like what, a quarter of that?
It's only a half left. Well,
Okay,
maybe it's 1/3 left, but I mean,
okay.
it is so
It looks
good.
it looks decadent.
It you can't you really can't. Well, it's not that much left. All right, it's
Let's just say you had a time of it yesterday.
I had a time of it, and I was like, that is the last meal of the day. But I had just finished my 4 mile walk, and I was just sitting in the courtyard talking to Elise, and we just had our little chat for a bit. And then after that, I said, I gotta go upstairs. And I came upstairs, did some work, and then I pulled out this little chocolatey treat. And
Oh, so you had some today already.
oh yeah, I had some yesterday, and I had some for today. So this was
Okay.
breakfast as well. So
Okay, gotcha.
not all in one swoop. I didn't eat all this last night. I had a quarter, sorry, a third, and then another third. So yeah,
Listen, no,
it won't
no
last.
need
It
to
won't last
explain.
today.
No
So
need to explain. No need to explain at all.
that's why I don't have chalk. That's why I don't have junk in the house because I cannot control myself. Okay, let's say some good mornings to some folks out there. I see first in the building is Miss Rashawn. Good morning, Ron, Chris, and Touch Base Daily family. Number two in the building. The silver goes to Hannah. Good morning, Ron and Chris and Rashawn and RLP family. And bronze goes to Aya. Grand Rising Ron, Chris, Grand Rising everyone at RLP. Then we have our Anthony. Anthony Rowland is in the building. He says, good morning. We have our wonderful Brian Young creative. He says, fam, how are you? I meant to call you yesterday, Brian. I need to call you. And Brian Young says, no, this brother Chris didn't say work trip and Cancun. Yeah,
Hey, listen,
he,
I'm not
he's got
complaining.
yeah, that's a great place to go working. And
Yeah, I
Hannah says
I'm
good
very
morning to
fortunate.
Brian.
Very
That
fortunate.
is very fortunate to have work. What do you call it? Travel work when you travel. And now when I travel for work, I always make sure that I take I take a day or two and linger. Um, when I was going to go to Kenya, which was supposed to happen this year, but it didn't happen. I was going to ask for, I was supposed to be there for 2 weeks or something like that, 2 or 3 weeks. And I was like, well, If you are going to do my return flight, if you can do the return flight at the end of the month, so that way I can have I could be in Africa, my 3 weeks with them or 2 weeks with them, and then I'll spend another 2 weeks after. Because how often do you get to go to Africa and
Well,
be and
that
this client pays for it?
so here's a so you actually hint on something that's really important when you travel for work, and especially if you're not the one doing it, but you know the people that are booking the trips. A lot of times, work trips will tend to be well, especially for me. Work trips are typically fly in either the day of or the day before, and fly out the day after, and
Mhm.
that typically is like leaving on a Sunday morning or a Monday morning, just depending on when the shows are. Um, but if you can ask them to instead of booking your ticket for that Monday, which typically Sunday or Monday, which is typically the most expensive, one of the most expensive days to
Mhm.
fly, say, hey, listen, do you mind booking my ticket for like Tuesday or Wednesday? One, it saves them
Save some
money and they're
money.
more willing to do it. And then
Yes.
also too, you tend to the hotels that probably been already paid for that you can extend will be cheaper on those days as well because the high
Yes.
occupancy rates and most expensive days are typically Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and most people check out Sunday and leave. So Mondays and Tuesdays
That's
are
right.
typically your less expensive days in hotels. So if you can extend it for those days, do that.
Yeah, it's always a good thing when you can do work. If you get an opportunity to do work trips, that's the best way to do them. Is to definitely take
Yeah,
that. You can just say to your boss or to the person that's planning the trip and say, you know what, I would like to just bump on. I mean, obviously, if you're an entrepreneur, you can just add the hours on. But I mean, if it's you're working for a corporation, you can simply say, hey, I want to take 2 days extra off from work. Is that possible? And I'm going to stay 2 days. It's going to save you money on the ticket. And I'm going to take care of my hotel and all the stuff I need. But it's always
yeah,
a good way to travel. I'm always looking for the best way to travel and travel the longest. The same thing when you travel to Europe.
maximize.
You should never go to Europe for one country. You just shouldn't. No one goes to Europe for just one country. The minimum is
Yeah.
two. The minimum is two. You say, I'm going to Paris. Well, you should be going to London. Or you're going to Paris, you should be going to Germany. You're going to London, you should go to Ireland. You should go to Scotland. I mean, if you want to go, people like myself, like Iceland, I will fly through Iceland, do a layover for a couple of days, and then go to my destination on Iceland Air. Or now you can use
Hey,
what's called, well, WoW is no longer.
speaking of that, for those that want to do something like that, um, Iceland Air actually has service where you can do if you're going to like England or
You go
one
to
of those
Paris,
Scandinavian countries.
London,
Yeah,
Germany.
uh, they have a layover program where you can through if you use their carrier, what they'll do is they'll give you like a day or two layover in that country. It'll be considered one fare. They don't charge you like two times because what they're trying to do is promote tourism in their country as well.
Yeah.
So it allows you to, your final destination is like say Paris, but you do a layover either for a day or two in Iceland. You get a chance to explore, and then you go on to your final destination. What that does, it introduces you to their country, to their customs, and more than likely you'll be more willing to go there on a vacation. Iceland had a huge travel and economic boom back, I would say, like in the mid
2008.
20, like between 2010 to
Yep.
like 2020,
Right
roughly.
after the financial
And a lot
crisis.
of that was sparked because of a lot of movies and films were filmed there. Game of Thrones was filmed there. Star Wars was filmed there.
Star
Um,
Trek.
what's the other alien? Aliens was filmed there. A lot of them because it's so otherworldly, the landscape, they can use that as their backdrops. And
Yeah.
tons of tourists flooded into the country. They didn't have the infrastructure to support all the tourism that they had. So, Ron, that's a great suggestion. If you're going one place, try to make two stops out of it.
It's always two stops. If you go to Europe, you gotta do two stops. And I don't understand why people would just do one when if you're gonna spend 6 hours, I always say if you're gonna spend more than 6 hours on the plane, you should stay longer, enjoy it more. just extend your time. I'm always like, what? You only going there for 2 days? One of my buddies, he's like, I'm going to Paris. He's going to London and going to Paris. So how long are you going to stay in Paris? He says, oh, it's just going to be about a day. I was like, a day? Who goes to Paris for a day? Anyway.
Well, look, sometimes when you have that work schedule that is really, you can't do it.
I said,
make
poor
the best
planning.
of it.
We were talking last night. I said, poor planning, poor planning.
Well, listen, no, here's something. I was in LA, I guess 2 weeks ago now. And I'm sorry to admit, but that was my first time in LA. Like I said, I've been to California many times and been to a lot of different places in California. But that was the first time in LA. And I made sure that day when I got there, I made the most of it. I literally walked around downtown LA for hours. I stopped at some of the high points, tourist spots while I was there. And I even the following morning I got up and I did a 5K run through the streets of LA, which was amazing. You don't realize you get a chance to see a lot of things when you're running too. And what that did was spark the interest of me wanting to go back. So that's another thing. So when you go places you've never been to before, even if you're there for a limited time, try to carve out, even if it's just like 1 to 2 hours to explore, just to see what those cities and towns are offering. So it'll spark your interest, and you might want to go back and to see more of it.
This is true. So last night was a horrible time for Florida because they had a major hurricane go through. Some of the east side of the east side of Florida is still experiencing effects from the hurricane. They still have hurricane force winds on the East Coast, and it's just wow.
On the East Coast, also they had unprecedented tornadoes, which was very uncommon. I mean, you do get tornadoes occasionally in hurricanes, but they had an increased amount. There were, I believe, at last time when I heard, they had about 10 that touched down on the eastern side of Florida. Right now, I actually have on a couple different screens what's going on. The Tropicana field I believe in Tampa has no roof right now. The roof is completely gone.
Totally gone.
Over 3 million people in Florida are without power. There are huge sinkholes in Florida. I mean, they're looking at last night alone, they had one spot had about 16 inches of rain last night. I don't even know the total number of inches, and that is what you would get in a season. There's nowhere for this water to go. Florida is very flat. The only place for the water to go is just to continue to rise. So you're going to see excessive flooding, and it's just devastating. And it's kind of heartbreaking to see the amount of devastation. And,
and 4 people
these Republicans, I hate to make it political.
4 people have died, though, so far.
Yeah. And I don't like making this political, but, they're still sitting there saying
when there are other people that make it political, you gotta call them out.
Real.
You gotta call them out on it.
Yeah, they're just saying it's not real, and I'm like, you live in Florida, sir. Do you not see what is going on around you? Like, these people are suffering. Like 2 catastrophic hurricanes in less than a month, and hurricane season is. I mean, it's not even over yet, and the Gulf waters are just getting warmer and warmer.
But again,
the amount of rain and water that they have, the Democrats are controlling the weather. That does not help anyone when you say stupid stuff like that. It only hurts people because now you've got people searching for Democrats controlling the weather. And instead of focusing and getting the help that they need, they're focusing on foolishness. So it's sad to see. And this is just going to be a reoccurring thing that we're going to get. I mean, we are used to it, but now it's even more like these are deadly storms.
But this is what happens when you let the dumb people in the country give them opportunity for in a powerful position. Marjorie Taylor Greene should be in no way a congresswoman. She should not be in Congress. In any other century or time, someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene would have never even been considered to even be on the PTA meeting. She couldn't even be on the PTA board. Anyway, we have our little lady. That was a bad statement. We have our ladies in the background coming on.
Come on, ladies.
Elise and Gwendolyn. Sorry for calling you little, because you are nothing about you guys are little. Your personalities are big
black,
as life.
beautiful women. Our
I
beautiful
almost
black
added
women.
another
There
big
we go.
there, but I thought this is a family show.
Huh?
I
She said
almost
this is a
added something
family
else
show.
to that, but I was like, I'm not going to do it. Let me
She
not.
ain't going there. She ain't going there. How you ladies doing today on this wonderful? Well, in the Northeast, it's beautiful. This weather is crazy beautiful.
Nice and crisp.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing well here. I mean, it's pretty outside. I'm still staying inside because my allergies are still killing me. Like, it's high. The pollen is high. I've said it all week. So I have decided to exercise inside the house, which is fine, but I do miss being outside.
Yeah.
Sucks for Gwendolyn.
And your crisp is cold to me. So
I love
It's
cold
cool.
and crisp. I do love
This is
it.
my
I
weather.
love cool weather. This is like I am in heaven, and also because my windows are down, because I can close them and not worry about being hot in the house, because there's a cool. Yeah, I could have the window in the kitchen open, and it's going to keep the house nice and cool, and no sirens, because the sirens will come by. They will at some point in this while I'm on. It was, what was so funny is that Don Lemon was on last week. I think it was Friday. And the sirens went across his outside of his window. He says, "Well, New York, it's New York." I said, "I know the feeling. I know the feeling." So it made me feel good that it's just not in Fort Greene, Clinton Hill. It is all over New York City. Fire trucks.
If you live in New York City,
it's sirens everywhere.
all the time.
All day, every day. All the time. It's just part of living in the city. So,
it's the charm of New York City.
Well, I don't know about the charm, but hey, I'm lost out on the charm.
You're getting jaded.
You're biased.
I'm jaded.
You're
I
over
am
it.
now jaded. I was telling Chris earlier before we came on, and I was so proud of myself 2 nights ago. I looked at my sound system, which I used to have a sound system for a movie theater in my house. So I had these 2 big speakers in the front, center speaker, rear speakers, huge woofer system, woofer speakers. And I was like, and then so I went to my neighbor next door and I said, "Do you guys need any speakers?" I said, "You probably don't, because no one uses speakers this big any longer." And she looked at me and she says, and she says, "Well," she just kept doing. She kept shaking her head like. And I said, "I get it. I was just gonna take them downstairs to the basement, and if someone happens to see them, they will take them. That's all. I'm not putting them on Craigslist. I'm not trying to get someone to come pick them up." I said, "They are gone." And just by clearing those speakers out the bookcase, clearing them out off the center of the wall unit, and I was like, "Wow, look how much space I have now." And I sat there and said, "So I'm on this mission. Anything that I have not used in 2 years has to go. And then after I get through that system, I'm going to go, everything that hasn't been used in a year will then have to go. And then when it's time to actually move out my apartment, anything that is not been used in 6 months, gotta go." And so it's kind of like paring down. And as an organizer, Gwendolyn knows what that means, right? We used to work at the Container Store, and we used to help organize people's homes and their closets and their spaces. That's what I used to do for a living. And now I am applying it to myself. Pare it down. 2 years, 1 year, 6 months. And then you're all organized.
So I just purge every month.
Yeah.
At least
you purge. Yeah, Gwendolyn purges all the time.
All the time.
She's a purger.
I'm a seasonal purger.
Are you a seasonal purger?
I am every season. Like right now, I've been so busy, but when I come back from this work trip, it's time to switch over everything. All the summer stuff's going to come out, and then all the winter stuff goes back in the closets. And I'm very organized in the respect. Like I even had like a one of those vacuum bag systems where I vacuum seal everything for the season,
You remember
and I
those,
can
Gwendolyn,
stack
right?
them, put them away.
That was one of our biggest. That was one of our biggest products at the Container Store.
Yeah.
Those vacuum bags.
I
They're
love them.
great.
They work. They
They are
work
good.
They
extremely
save
well.
so much space. You
Oh,
don't have the
yeah.
moth problems when you put
Nope.
stuff in boxes or whatever. And then you wash the stuff, you put them in, you can take them back out, and spray them with like a little Febreze, and boom, you're ready to go for the next season. And it
Yeah.
doesn't
There
take up
you
any
go.
space.
Yeah.
'Cause that's
Speaking
always the
of
thing.
Febreze,
Like, what do you?
no, I'm gonna
Yeah.
say. Speaking of Febreze, Gwendolyn, you want to share something about your Febreze?
What? Well, you got to exactly what you know. I say a lot of stuff to you. Like exactly what part of my sharing about different groups.
Now I'm curious.
I think it was Gwendolyn that we talked about her. She was cleaning up and Febrezing some of the stuff in her house.
Well, okay, so in terms of clutter, if I could just give a whole, because I don't need anybody judging me, not that it matters, but I don't do a lot of clutter in terms of noise and smell and like physical things. Like I can't. So when I walk in my house, it's got to have a particular smell. I prefer like vanillas, ambers, oueds, you know what I'm saying? Like the warm stuff. So, we were cleaning because I had to clean, had all the confetti, and there's still some here. And I said, I need to get up
confetti.
and clean the house. And twice a season, so quarter, I guess 6 quarters, that's 6 months. I clean all the doors and I clean my baseboards. I didn't do that the other weekends. And then I like to, freshen up all of the furniture and everything. So I was spraying my house and washing my woodwork. And maybe that's a little old for some people, but you got to wash your woodwork. You know what I'm saying? So, but it smells so fresh afterwards. I was like, oh my God, like, really? Is this my house? So yeah, but I clean all the time. I don't know why Ron calling me out like that. Like, there's nothing special.
Oh no, we were all cleaning up. I think I mean, there's 2 times of the year that I clean up. Like 2 weeks ago, I took the time out. It was misty in New York. It was raw and nasty out. And I took my window panes out, all of the window panes, and cleaned them and made them beautiful. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can see out my windows so well, especially if I have a skyline view and all the other stuff. So when you want to make it look beautiful. So I've been on this every week, making my life better. Yeah. That's been this new, kind of like, and not like try to turn the world upside down at one time, but incrementally making my life better. And so, and it makes you feel good. I mean, like I said, every time I look out my windows, I'm like, I had not cleaned my windows in 2 years. And I was like, and I was that guy that cleaned my windows every spring and every fall. So when spring came in after the winter, windows get clean. After the summertime, windows and get ready for the winter, windows get clean. Just my thing.
So this conversation makes me think about me and my garden on Sunday pulling those weeds up.
Oh, see, there we are.
That was great.
Trying to weeding those things out of our life. Ron and his speakers. I'm starting here, but that there's still more stuff you got to weed out. Mm-hmm. It just takes time. It's not a rush. But clutter, like I'm the clutter queen. I tell my daughter, I said, look, I just need someone to come in here and just send me out.
Wait a minute, Miss Elise, if I may, I thought your son was a Virgo. Isn't he a Virgo?
He is, but he's not a
He's like, wait a minute, he is, but he's not one of those Virgos.
He's not one of those Virgos.
Now, he doesn't have, I'm the one with the, like, I won't say it's clutter. I have tons of books and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to figure out, like, what do I do? How do I release some of them? And some of them I know I probably won't ever get rid of. Like, I have a big collection of Baldwin books. So they'll just be there. But
I
there's
have a question. I have a question to the audience while you're talking, Elise. How many of you in the audience, all you got to do is say clutter, no clutter. Some people enjoy clutter. Some people, they like clutter. It makes them feel, it's like the feeling of a pack rat. It's like that beautiful. Some people like to be hoarders. There are people that survive
there are
and
people who are
love.
hoarders, yes.
They love hoarder. They love things around them. It makes them feel safe and secure. Which are you in this community? Clutter lovers or no clutter? Clutter or no clutter?
I'm not a clutter lover. I like to be able to move around.
I thought hoarding
I
was
like to see my dining room table with minimal stuff on it. Like, put some flowers in the middle.
Yeah.
Dr. Tachi says, I hate clutter.
Yeah, I thought clutter spoke to internal chaos that was projected out here in your space. That's how I've always seen it. Because when we were like retail therapists, literally, people take like their whole entire life, but they would get to a point of, this is the problem. It's like, well, this is why you got to get rid of this stuff because it's hindering you from moving forward for what you really need to do.
Charlene says, no clutter. Clutter gives me anxiety.
Some people have
that's so good.
Hoarding something, hoarding is connected to mental health too. If you have if you hoard a lot, and then you have people. The young guy next to me, his grandmother, he got the house from his grandmother. He inherited the house, right? So she had moved out, and we didn't know. First of all, we her neighbors. We thought something had happened. My husband and the man next door called the police because she had been missing for a while. We thought she was over there in the clutter, and he said when he went in, they could not even open the front door. Because there was so much stuff. So they had to get all of that stuff out there. So she was a hoarder. But hoard like that, that's a sign of mental health issue.
Listen,
I know what that's like.
A cluttered house is a cluttered mind. And I can't stand clutter. I can't even listen to me. It makes my skin crawl. I don't like to see wires. Like just scrolled all over the place. It has to be.
Chris freaks out about wires.
They need to be tucked away. I don't want to see them. Like if you come here, you won't see wires. Like I'm trying to do everything in my power to make sure you don't see a wire.
He's like,
I can't.
I agree,
no
Chris.
more wires.
I agree.
I can't.
I don't want to see the
Listen
wires.
to me. I've gone as far sometimes as like I have holes and I had the system where you can tuck the wires in the walls. Oh, absolutely. I'm all for it. And and I will repair when it needs to be repaired, but I'm doing it. I mean, I get the nice circle or box cut out that I need, have the system put into the wall. Yeah. You won't see any wires or dangling stuff.
He does not like wires. I remember when Chris told me that one time, I was rolling, and he was serious. He was having a moment about some wires. It was like 2 wires, and he was losing it.
I will walk behind you and tuck wires, okay?
He is. So I see in here, who else is so for those that are just joining in, we're talking about clutter or no clutter. So I had a significant other in my life, and they were a hoarder, and I didn't realize the extent of it until I had gone to their house, and I was like, holy moly. And it was, but again, there's a for him it was definitely psychological. And one of my clients, her father was a hoarder, so she was able to give, and she's a psychologist, so it was like it just happened at one time where I was like, oh, I'm getting some good education here. And so also they say hoarders become hoarders because of something tragic that happened. Something that, like for my client, my interior design client, her father had lost her brother. Her brother was killed, and when he was a teenager, and the father mentally shut down from that point on and became a hoarder. And when he passed away, they had to get two dump trucks to come to the house and take out all of the papers and books, and he was an educated man. He was a professor. He was highly intelligent, but part of him shut down. He became a hoarder, and he would hold on to everything. Anything that had significance, he had to hold on to it because he lost the thing that was the most important to him, his son.
All right.
I was like, wow, that was a powerful thing. But I like to have clean. I like the only thing I have that's clutter, and I'm considered clutter, are my plants.
Your plants.
My plants are all in this section.
But is that clutter?
It's not really clutter. No, it's not.
Clutter, right?
And it's organized. I mean, like I got 3 here, I got 3 there. They're in clusters. So, yeah.
People talk about having too many books. I was like, but isn't that a library? I mean, like I'm not
a library with not the shelves, but like they're in different places, right? They're on shelves, but it's a lot. I got rid of some of them, but
I used to have lots of books, but I had to get rid of them because I was like, you know what? They're not going to be used any longer.
Check the private chat. Check the private chat. No, it's fine.
Am I out of focus because I move too much?
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Out loud,
see, this is why I appreciate Chris. He is so like, what's the phrase? Upgraded me. You know what I'm saying?
I was testing you. I'm trying to get your attention.
I love you.
He was upgrading.
It's the horse. It's the horse. I have a lot of eyes in this room. I have photos. I got this horse behind me. So if I'm not careful, it'll pick up on the eyes and it's like, well, I don't know who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any. Well, there's only one eye back there.
Well, you're in focus now.
That's my elephant. But anyway,
focus and glowing.
So we see who the hoarders are. I mean, not the hoarders. Who are the clutters and the no clutters, not the hoarders. And hey, David Mascaro's in the building. How you doing? Does being a camera hoarder mean I have a problem?
Yes.
I
had to tell a friend he had a problem. Listen, no, I've been there, and I am a recovering addict. Trust me.
Really?
At one point, I had 5 working cameras that I was using at a time. I'm like, why?
Really?
I had to get to a point where I literally all I have now is one professional camera. I'm like, I don't need all those cameras. Granted, I have a couple other cameras now, but I'm doing a lot more video stuff, so I need those. But I had to say to myself, you need to stop. It was bad.
I agree.
Really?
I agree, Chris. I know in 2020 I bought 4 film cameras.
Wow.
Right? So 2 twin lens, 2 35 millimeter cameras, and I kept looking for more. I was like, I can just get, if I can get just one more, and I thought, well, how many are you actually carrying? But I did take a trip. I took 5 cameras with me. Don't ask me
5 cameras on a trip.
I used all 5, and then I thought, Gwendolyn,
I've taken 4 on trips before.
That's some seriousness. That is.
Well, you all see what I collect back here.
Art. You have art. You have art everywhere.
I'm on a fast right now.
You're on a fast.
Challenging myself on an art buying fast.
How's that working for you?
It's working so far, and it's been some amazing things out there. But I said I'm giving myself until the beginning of January. Although I'm going to Ghana next month, so I told everybody, I said, now
you're going to Ghana next month?
Yes. I said that means that when I get to Ghana, that
there's some art. There's some art in Ghana. You're gonna have to have them ship stuff to you back home.
Are you into sculptures?
I'm into art. Yeah.
You're gonna have to bring an extra suitcase to Ghana that like has nothing in it.
Yeah.
You got to bring it.
I told my niece, I'm going with my nieces, and I told them, I said, you know what? I hope you all have time built in because I will leave you to go find art.
Ghana, there's art everywhere. When you are in Accra, are you going to Accra?
Yeah, we're going to Accra, and then we're taking a plane to Kumasi. And my husband was just reading an article because that's what a naming ceremony is. We're supposed to have a trip, a tour. And he was just reading an article, and I kept the article about the art center that's in Kumasi.
Yes, you are going to get. You're going to have a good time.
We're definitely going to have to stop there on this tour.
Your niece, your relatives are going to be upset with you. They're going to be like, oh, she's stuck here. We ain't going nowhere.
But I told them already. They've been warned.
Yes, it's a lot of art in Ghana. A lot of colorful, beautiful beadwork.
Right.
Like you'll see a painting. Like one of my friends, she in her home, she had $1 million bead artwork.
Wow.
And it was literally a landscape made of beads.
Wow.
And the beads, tiny little beads, and they were it was just, it was huge. It was on her one of her landings in her house, and it was gigantic, and it was all beads. When I saw it, I thought when I first came in the house, I thought it was a painting, and then I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, those are beads. Every intricate, it was so intricate. It just, you couldn't believe it was beads. It was beads.
There's some artists out here doing some amazing things
stuff.
With, there's one artist who does it. It's like this. It's like little toy soldiers almost. But he does portraits like that. James Baldwin. He's done a lot of things in it. But from a distance, it just looks like this amazing painting. But when they start showing you what it is, you see all the things that he's used to create these images. It's amazing.
I have a question, Miss Elise. I have to imagine that you have a lot of walls in your house.
So, like where I'm sitting now is the basement of my house, right? This is the basement of my house. Okay. And then I've only gotten up to the first floor. And so my husband, he said, I have art to be hung. He's like, where's it going? I said, there's absolutely no art up on the second floor. And most people will find it interesting. I have not selected the pieces for my bedroom.
Really?
There's no art in my bedroom yet. So
interesting.
There we have a whole floor with nothing.
Wow.
But is that intentional? Is that intentional?
Is that to give yourself?
It was intentional to be the last.
Oh, wow.
It's intentional to be last. But and then there's so many different techniques of hanging art that you learn along the way, like deciding which art pieces you want to put together and tile, so that there are multiple pieces in one space. But so it has to be very intentional about themes. So I do look at like the themes of art, because if you look behind me, these are the theme, and these are just common colors.
Yes.
They're all
you also love color.
I like color. I actually, one of my favorite things is black and white. It's just hard to sometimes find artists who are doing black and white. Like I like black and white photos. I like black and white, paint pictures. And so I've seen some recently, and that's why it's like, I've been really fasting. I've seen some recently have just been doing some amazing things in charcoal.
Wow.
That I find interesting, but I really love black and white. And I like black and white. And I think I had this conversation with Ron before. I feel that black and white photography, when you see a person in black and white, you see the soul of that person.
It's the soul.
Whatever you take in black and white looks like the soul to me. So that's why I really, really love black and white. And so I'm actually looking for things in black and white. I don't have to always, like for me, I'll probably find something amazing in black and white that goes in my bedroom, just because have always been. Like if I watch an old black and white movie and it's been colorized, I hate it.
I'm the same way.
I like it.
If I saw it in black and white, I want it to stay in black and white.
Yeah,
it's not real. They didn't shoot it in color. So how do you then now you have to pretend you know what the colors were they had on. So that's always my thing. So I am actually a big fan of black and white. I actually have a cousin who did an amazing piece. I can't show it to you right now, but amazing piece of Maya Angelou. And it's black and white. It was her first thing she did digitally, and she only did 2 of them. And it has her hair, and her hair is created by all the titles of her book.
Wow!
Oh wow!
Yeah, if I could show it to you.
You want to see? Hannah says something when it came to our clutter conversation. Hannah said, let me see. Hannah said, when I was 5 years old, I watched my house burn to the ground. So I think I tend to hold on to things too long. Wow. Hannah, that's a story right there. Yeah, there's nothing worse than watching your house on fire. I had that experience also. I was homeless for a bit when I was in when I first started on Wall Street. My next door neighbors burnt down the house, the drug den that was next door to me, and then we had to rush out the house, and all you could just see the house was just, you're in the street and your house is burning down. It is nothing more. There is really no words for it. I'm not a crier. I don't really cry about too many things. I'm just not built that way. I mean, now I am. Now I'm older. I cry about everything. But when I was a teenager,
that happens.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, I didn't cry about anything. So I'm 21 years old. I think I was 20. I just started at the stock exchange. So it was like 20. I was 20 years old, and we had the fire. And I was in the street and I just started to cry. I mean, you saw the flames, you saw all the flames, you just see all your stuff burning up, and you just.
Well, that's all your worldly possessions.
Yeah.
And you're just getting started, and it's just snatched away. That is heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
When I see fires and I see families outside, like, it's devastating, because it's like, well, where do you begin to pick up the pieces?
Right.
It was
devastating. And especially if you lose a loved one as well.
Yeah.
It was traumatic it took me, for a while I kept thinking, I was always paranoid of everything, the stove, I don't like fire at all.
That's exactly the reason why I don't have gas cooking in my house.
Really?
Because I was always thought, like, if I had gas and I have children and they were small, I was like, no, I'm not going to run the risk of something happening to my children.
Wow. Interesting.
I had the same fear, Elise. We don't have gas now. I remember one apartment I had gas. Let me tell you something. That was the most heart-wrenching, like, 2 years that I spent at that place, because I was constantly leaving and turning back around just to make sure that, like, I turned the stove off or there was nothing on it. Because, like, my fear is that I'm just going to lose everything. Like, I spent 2 years just constantly going back and forth. I would always be late to everywhere because.
Oh yeah, well, that's the same thing.
Do I smell gas?
Yeah, or do I smell gas? My thing is, I have a gas stove, and I'm always. Obviously, you learn these techniques of never put the pot back on the eye of the stove. Make sure you take it off, put it in the sink, or take it off and put it on another eye. And because there's all kinds of cooking habits and rules you should know.
So you know what I did?
Yeah, scary stuff. Once you have fires, it's scary.
Induction cooktops.
Oh,
induction cooking works just like gas.
It
goes down when you turn it down. It goes up when you turn it up. It doesn't work like the normal electric cooktops that you turn it down and it's still heating. An induction cooktop goes down just like gas.
Wow, did not know that.
So I have
a lot of them too. The minute you put the pan on, it warms up, and then when you remove it, it goes cool. It goes
off. It automatically shuts itself off if it's going more than a few seconds. It turns itself off.
I see here, Rashawn says, I hate clutter. I'm a neat freak.
I'm with you, Rashawn.
And I see, guess who's in the building, y'all? Omar's in the building. The executive is in the building. He's now Omar. An executive at his company. He is in the building. He must be in his office watching us.
Congratulations, Omar.
Omar is an executive now. And who else is in the building? I see Charlene's, and she says, hello, Dr. Tanji. Amparo's in the building. Hey, Amparo, so good to see you. And I see here, I think I lost time. I counted. I was at, what? David Mascaro has 21 or 20 cameras and 20 plus lenses. Right. I just rotate them. Wow.
Is he a professional working photographer?
Yeah, he is. He's a professional. He's a professional. But that's still a lot of cameras.
That's a lot of cameras. He said work, but he rotates them. So
he rotates them. So he's using them. He's using them.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some people
As
that
long as
have, professionals that have their Hasselblad, and then they have the Canons,
Yeah.
and they have the Nikon,
Yeah.
and they use them for
Yeah.
they're like a surgeon, because certain
Well,
cameras
the other
have a certain style.
yes. And he probably has
So
a specific lens on those, and he doesn't change them out. Even though they're probably interchangeable, he probably won't change them out. I mean, I do get that, but I couldn't justify because I wasn't making enough money to say
yeah,
I
can't
had
afford
5
21
cameras.
cameras. I can't afford. I mean, well, technically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 cameras.
Are we counting
that you
now?
have in your possession now.
Yeah, that I have in my possession. 7.
Do you use them?
Let's count it.
I don't use 3. I use 4.
Trade them in.
Oh no, these are collectors. I mean, I have an
Oh,
old
are they
Canon that I
old-time
have.
cameras?
Okay, that's different.
It's a film camera. I could use it. I just don't use it. 'Cause I don't
Do you
use film.
showcase them?
Yes, they're
Do you showcase them in your?
Yeah,
Okay, well that's different though too. That's
Yeah.
different.
And then I have my first
Is it-
Pentax, my first camera that I paid money for, with its own little telescopic lens and everything. The first camera bought to actually take photos seriously, when I was 16 years old, 17 years old. It sits right behind me. Yeah.
I have a couple in my house. I think we still have the you remember the Polaroids that came out and they had the brown leather top?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Yes,
think we
the
still
brown
have
leather.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we still have that one in here.
Oh my goodness. Anthony says, I feel attacked. I have 6
tempted.
cameras.
Look, this is probably my most favorite lens. I will never ever sell this lens. It's an 85 millimeter portrait camera, and it's a f 1.4. Like some things you just can't part with.
Well, 85 millimeter lenses, no one ever gets rid of 85 millimeter lenses.
It's a great lens.
It's the lens that people hold on to.
Awesome
They don't
lens.
get rid of it. When you go to the store and you say, can I buy a refurbished or a used 85 millimeter lens? You never find
Very hard to find. Yeah, they're very hard to find.
No one ever gets rid of the 85 millimeter.
They're expensive, but they're expensive for a reason. They're really good lenses. And if you do portraiture work, if you don't have that lens, then you're not a portrait photographer.
Ooh.
Seriously, Chris?
Ooh.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
See, Gwendolyn put her
I
number in
went
the
there.
chat.
I have my 85 though. I have my 85. I would love a 1.2, but that
Ooh, that's butter. Those are very expensive.
1.2 is very expensive.
That's a sexy lens.
Oh yeah. So for all those that don't know what we're talking about when it comes to lenses, as in those that have not gone to that next level of photography, you have zoom lenses and you have what's called the fixed lens. And the fixed lens usually gives you more clarity when you photograph a subject.
Mm-hmm.
The 85 millimeter is a traditional portrait lens. Most photographers that do portrait shots, headshots, anything face, the 85 millimeter is such balance, bokeh and depth of field, and everything is so well done on an 85 millimeter lens. So that's what we're talking about. And it's
I
a
used
fixed
at one
lens.
point in my life.
Oh,
to be a
really?
photographer at one point in my life, and I actually used to get from B&H.
Yes, B&H.
The thing from B&H and everything. Then, and I'm working through this journal, this book, and one of the things is like 5 imaginary lives that you would have, and one of my imaginary lives is a travel photographer.
Really?
Yes.
What? You see, every time Elise speaks, we learn something with depth of who she is. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow. Omar says, I'm getting rid of so much stuff, moving out of my studio, and I have just too much equipment I don't use anymore. Well, I think Gwendolyn needs to go pop up to where you are, because she's not
No, I
that far
don't.
from you.
No, I don't need
Say
nothing else.
no.
I don't need nothing else. Gwendolyn is I'm on a purging spree. Like as I told you now,
We're all
quick
purging.
little side note. So I'm looking at all these people who are
One second.
being impacted by the hurricanes and what have you. And it is heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking. And then I think about my mother, and I can't help but say I have a little bit of her in me, that when she does her eulogies, not anymore, but she would say she has yet to see a U-Haul follow a hearse. And so I go through life.
Say that again.
She has yet to see a U-Haul follow a hearse, because we spend so much of our life working for stuff. And if you look at the average American citizen, we truly are blessed beyond measure. A lot of this other stuff just becomes stuff. And so I was talking with some other fellow photographers just 2 days ago about cleaning out our guest bedroom that was used by Granny. She passed away last year, but we had never moved her stuff. Like, it's just been in there. So I had to go in there and take what I could to Goodwill. And then everything else is now what? Right. And so when I look at myself, and I don't have kids of my own. Now, my nephew has put dibs on some stuff. I've had other folks put dibs on some stuff. But the rest is this. These are my memories. You know, these are my special moments, not for anybody else. So no one's going to be like, oh my God, I should keep that. No one else is going to do that.
Very
and
true.
A
Very
lot
true.
of stuff that just needs to go someplace. I'm like, you know, like, now I've been homeless, so I understand that. I understand literally starting over. So I get it. And I want to say, because of that, I don't feel attached to a lot of things, because in those dark days, it was, I have food in my belly, gas in my car, and someplace to sleep. And that was all that I was like really concerned about. So my mind has shifted when it comes to grabbing, you know, physical possessions. They're not going to be here always. Neither am I.
Homelessness will teach you some things. I mean,
sure will.
I will never forget. Like I said, I was 20 years old. You live your life thinking none of that. I mean, you look at other people when it happens, you're like, oh wow, you feel sorry, you feel some kind of way about it. But when you actually have been homeless and your home has been burnt down, and you don't know where you're going to, you don't know where you're going to be. You just don't know where you're going to live. You don't know how you're going to live. As in, it is. I mean, at 20 years old, I was like, you know, and obviously I was the man of the house, so I was responsible for my mom and my sister, and I was so blessed and fortunate that my friends at the stock exchange pulled together. My boss was really cool. Called me in and say, Ron, get in here. I got a check for you. And gave me a check. And so I was able to hand my mother some money. She went to the real estate office while I was at work, and she was able to get us a duplex apartment. It was a much better home than we ever had before. And, but, you know, and you know, it always goes back to that community.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
And it's always a good I cannot overemphasize the importance of community and building community and building friendships and living a life of integrity. Because when something goes down, when something happens, people are coming.
Yes.
People are coming to help. And I remember that. I remember it like it was yesterday, because my boss, he handed that check to me. I had only been working there probably 5 months. I had just started at the stock exchange. And he wrote a check and said, get your mom and your sister, you guys get an apartment, and worry about that when you come back to work. Don't worry about anything. Just worry about getting your mom and your sister in an apartment. And then the folks at the exchange themselves, like my coworkers, they raised money.
Oh, wonderful.
And so we were able to buy a couple of new things for the apartment, got the duplex, paid the, what you call it, when we had to do the 3, you paid a month,
Yes.
those 3 payments
first
you
and
needed.
last month rent.
Yes, exactly.
All that craziness. Yeah.
And we were able to have it. But again, I say to people, I mean, like we have here a community. And I am a believer. If there's anything that I've learned in life, if I was at the end of my life and this was the last day, I would tell people, build your community.
Yes.
Whatever that may look like, build your community, because your community is everything. And your community will build you, support you, encourage you, pray for you, love you, think of you, be there for you.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than community.
Connections are important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was one of those deep moments. You have those moments. How did we get to clutter to community? I guess we'll call this from clutter to community.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the show title right there.
But isn't it the truth? Isn't it the truth?
Yeah.
I mean,
sometimes, Ron, when you're thinking about your community, sometimes you have to clear out the clutter to get the community that you actually need in your life.
There you go.
That part.
Yeah.
Elise, Lady Wisdom.
The inspiration in this room.
I had to start calling her Elise Lady Wisdom.
Plucking all the weeds out.
Yeah, she's like, I'm
dropping
another
my
gem.
second video today.
I'm dropping another gem on y'all. I mean, and this, look, it's 11 o'clock, so we're gonna get off of here. This was really good. Derek says that was a blessing, and God is just that. And indeed, I see in here. Oh, how nice! So, how many people can identify with what we're talking about today? How many of you can identify? Hey, Chrissy's Corner's in the building. And we see Chrissy. Hey, Warren. Warren says, it's so hard to make the final cut of this. Is a part of me I'm tossing, or this is weight on my forward progress. And I see here, influencer culture has also fueled the need for stuff.
I agree.
Yes, Dr. Tachi.
Yes.
We don't need a lot of stuff. Like I said, I got to go through my closets. I am purging, getting rid of the clutter, getting things, because again, when that day comes, when it's time for me to sell this apartment and move to my next chapter, I don't want to take anything but I told my neighbor, my second mom down the hall from me, outside, and I told her, I said, the only thing I'm taking with me, my plants, my bed, and my computer, and that's it.
You're shipping all of your plants to wherever you go.
Wherever my plants are going, wherever I'm going.
Okay.
Can you take those plants?
Sometimes
you can take plants. You can wrap them up, put them in boxes, and ship them where you need to ship them.
Some countries won't let you bring in outside plants.
Oh, that's right. You can't. If I'm going to Paris, then the plants have to go away, because if you go to another country, they don't allow plants.
Yeah,
you can't bring those, or veggies, or.
But listen, I'm sure you'll find great plant homes for them, like here and some other places.
Okay, Chris. Yeah, I'll be sending them off to Chris. Hey, Chris.
No. Don't let Ronald find out. He already knows we have too many. Every time I bring a plant home, like another one.
But when that day comes, that's all. Now, if I live in America, if Trump is in jail and he did not win the election, Lord have mercy. That's a great wish. Anyway, but if Kamala Harris is the president come November, then I might make it to North Carolina, and then I can take my plants. I will just have a plant room.
That would be nice.
U-Haul required.
Like I told my family, I said things go wrong. All I'm doing is packing this artwork up
That's it.
and leaving.
I'm just taking my desk, my lamps, everything just right here, and my computers, and then my plants. That's it. That's all I need, and my bed. Because where I'm going is I'm just going to have a studio apartment and live comfortable. Now, if I go to Paris, then I'll have a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom apartment because I know a lot of my friends are going to want to come visit. So I got to make room for them.
You gotta have space, Ryan. You gotta have space.
You got to have space for the family and friends.
Yeah.
So anyway, what's the last word on you guys are saying in here? Okay, I see in here. Did I say goodbye? Hello to Bryson. Hey, Bry, what's going on? Mr. Bryson is in the building. He says,
Bryson.
It's Law and Order Thursday.
Yes.
I love it. Janet says, have a good one, everyone. Fifi says, then I can steal your plants. That's sweet. Fifi says that. And I am getting rid of iPads that don't work. We clutter. I have computers.
Out of your house.
I have like 5 computers
Do they all work?
Towers that are just like lined up. I need to go in.
You need to donate those for parts.
Yeah, I need to
you need to
get rid of the hard drives out. Just take the hard drives out.
Take
the hard drives out and drill them babies and send them out and throw them in the garbage.
That's what you need to do. I know when you and Chris were on earlier, you were talking about travel.
Yeah.
So, my family and I have traveled to Europe. And so what we did was when we went to Italy, what people need to do, when you go to Europe, fly there and then take the train everywhere else.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. Take the train.
The train
is amazing. You'll be so spoiled by those European trains.
It's so cheap.
They're cheap.
It's so cheap and it's so comfortable.
They feed you.
Like royalty.
Yes.
See,
take the train.
So we just ended where we started out. Travel.
Yes. Travel.
360.
So guys, tomorrow is Focus Friday. We'll be focusing on accounts that are supporting and helping us in the selection, and also anything that may support that anything. If you have a Facebook, not Facebook, if you have an Instagram or YouTube channel that you want to share with the community, bring that tomorrow with you so that way we can all enjoy what you're enjoying. I've been really spending some time and learning and seeing some new accounts that some of you guys follow, and I'm late to the party. And I'm like, wait a minute, Elise is already following this. Oh, wait a minute, Chris is already following this person. I'm just finding out because you see a little pictures over there, and they go, oh, Elise is following. Yeah, so there's some really cool accounts out there that are really making a difference in people's lives, and so we can share those tomorrow. David says, I'm taking my cameras with me. No else in my family. No, I guess nowhere else in my family wants. No one else in my family wants them.
Right.
Just like Gwendolyn said, we think things are important. We think all the things that we have are valuable. But as soon as we go, it goes to the trash.
Absolutely.
Yeah. As soon as we're getting gone, family has no one sitting around saying, wow, that was some nice little letter there. That nice little award that he got in 6th grade. Oh man, they tossing that baby in the garbage.
No sentimental value to anybody else but you.
I have to tell you this morbid thing I said to my husband. I'm going to be cremated.
Yeah.
He says he wants to be buried out here. I said, well, look, brother, you need to figure that out because if the plans aren't there, you're going to be cremated. And I told him, I said, here's the actual truth.
I told Adrian,
you'll only be remembered as long as the people that you were valuable to are alive.
Yeah, you are. That's it.
Once they're dead, you're unless it's a well manicured place, that stone is gonna be grown over. No one's gonna visit that. I have 2 brothers who buried in Ohio. I haven't been there to see them since they died. Yeah. So their grave, because I have the memory. So my thought was like, look, I'm gonna buy that urn.
Amazon. I buy that. And Adrian, when we were in South Carolina, Adrian says, Pop, what are we going to do with your ashes? I said, just take them on the hiking trail we used to go on, and then get to our little favorite lake and just go, whoo.
Well, you know what I told my family. I said, now you're going to sprinkle a little bit on the New York City subway tracks. I'm going to ride all around
so that way it can just
Manhattan.
blow into the system.
And then now you can take some out to Will Rogers Beach in California. Just let it blow in the wind. Go there at sunset.
I told Adrian,
I don't want you to put it in a bracelet on your arm or lock it on your neck.
I said,
I'm not in there.
Let it blow in the wind. Put it by a tree. Put it by the tree. That way I'll slide into the stream or slide into the lake.
You put it on a New York City subway.
New York City subway. You told me that, Mr. Galise. Anyway, we're out of here, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was good conversation. I'm so glad we didn't really get into politics, and it was so nice to just hang out with each other and just talk. And so we need that more. We get enough of politics every day. So
every day.
This was just so good just to be together and just chat and share. I always learn something more about my wonderful co-host here. Thank you guys for popping on. Let me get rid of this crazy little banner. Clutter is gone, and now you can see these beautiful names of these beautiful people. Elise, where can people find you?
You can find me at SALIEZE_ on Instagram. And I'm going to go clean something up after this.
Chris, where can people find you?
You can find me at constantly_ changing the number for me on all my social medias. That is Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and YouTube, awesome. I believe. Yeah.
And Gwendolyn, where can people find you?
I am GR Houston Jack on YouTube and Black Power Bunny on Instagram.
And she's a power bunny. She is a power bunny. And let me just say for you guys that I meant to do this, and I'm going to make sure I'm getting good at this. And just so you know, share your event story, event photography. I do that. So if you want to recommend me to your friends and family and corporations, I do event photography. I am an event photographer specialist. And so you want to do that, that would be great. And also, if you want to learn photography, I teach photography virtually. I can teach with you. And as I said, teach you from any place in the world. And also, thank you to our sponsors for the Patreon community, Rolling Clouds, Arrhythmus. Okay, so there you go. We have folks that are sponsors. If you want to be a sponsor, you are more than welcome to do that as well. Because as someone told me, StreamYard is becoming more expensive, and so if you guys want to support, let's support. So and that way we can stay and do the things that we do here. Okay, and I think we're all good, and that is it, guys. We're out of here. So, guys, again, see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful Thursday. And we are out of here.